Western liberal values. A deep as Flux special report.
Points to consider as we go into our unit on applied ethics. Two aspirational values of Western liberalism, not liberalism in the sense of liberal Democrat, but liberalism that spawned both traditional Democratic and Republican Party ideals or values. Freedom. Have policies that make people as free as possible. We've seen this value reflected in Mill's harm principle. The idea is that you should allow people to say what they want and live as they wish to live, whatever lifestyle they want, whatever words they want to say, so long as it does not harm others. Equality. Have policies that do not prioritize the values and goals of Group A over Group B, so long as neither group is infringing on the freedom of the other. You can see how this is reflected in Kant's categorical imperative. Just to give one example, you should only do those actions that you would be okay with others doing, gets us pretty close to everyone should have equality before the law. Now, these principles have resulted in ideas of rights. So here are some examples of some traditional Western liberal rights. Freedom. Free speech, free market, gun rights, property rights, right to live alternative lifestyles, equality, right to vote, right to lawyer and fair trial, equality before the law, right to protest. Note, when these rights conflict, Western liberalism balances them against each other. This is reflected in Aristotle's ideal of moderation. Prioritizing one of the rights to the exclusion of the other produces illiberalism. Illiberal policies do not place much emphasis on balancing freedom and equality. Of course, I say prioritizing one of the rights to the exclusion of the other, but if you start getting rid of rights, then you are becoming less liberal in the broad sense of that ideal. Okay, this isn't great, but here are two examples of illiberal policies. Fred Zigster has written a book called 30,000. In it, he argues everyone should have the same income, $30,000 a year, no matter what they do. Note, Fred's book prioritizes equality over freedom, in this case, the free market. This may remind you of socialism. Example 2. Fred's brother, Zane Zigster, has written a book called No Pro. In it, he argues that no one should be allowed to protest policies of the government. Note, Zane's book devalues free speech. This may remind you of authoritarianism, where political authority makes policies that go unchecked by public sentiment to some degree. Note 1. You may believe that some illiberal policies are better than liberal ones. For example, you might agree it is better to ban anti-war free speech during wartime to prevent troops from getting low morale. That your favorite policy is illiberal does not mean it is incorrect. It just means that it is not aligned with traditional Western values. Those traditional values may very well be wrong. Note 2, if you do make Western liberal values your assumed values when you reason morally, you are likely to come to different, more nuanced results in your moral reasoning than you would if you followed the party line for Democrats or Republicans. Warning. Because of the popularity of the ideas of equality and freedom, people will sometimes pretend that illiberal opinions conform to Western liberal values. Lydell says, the reason I don't want policy P is not because I'm offended by it. It's because it is too dangerous. In this simulation, we assume that Lydell does not really believe the practice he opposes is dangerous. Instead, he is offended by it and does not really want the culture to develop in a way that makes him uncomfortable. But he's not going to say this because he knows that his real reason for opposing P violates the harm principle. So he fudges and gives a reason to oppose the policy that conforms to the harm principle, but that's not something he really believes. Imagine that policy P equals allowing trucks to transport livestock. Lydell doesn't like it because he's anti livestock since he owns a meatless alternative company. So he pretends to think it is too dangerous. To support this, he finds and cites reports of truck crashes with animals on board. In this example, Lydell wants to make others less free in order to enrich himself personally, an illiberal idea. But in order to get others to support his idea, he appeals to a supposed harm that comes from it, thereby making his illiberal idea appear to be in conformity with the liberal value of maximizing freedom, even though really it is not.